So I guess you would think that for people that were paid to lie, I don't know, trained to lie, you would think that they would do it better. So if we take the asbestos thing, I just want to pull this out and put it to bed finally, but this is just how obvious that it is, right? So you got the council that came in, and rather than asking them directly whether they knew about the asbestos, you do it indirectly. And this puts down the filter. But let's just take a look at the health and safety officer for Saffron, just quickly. Neil. Their argument for having asbestos in the building is because it's fireproof. Okay, so where's the asbestos? It's in a water tank. Yeah, so it's inside a water tank, and the other place was around the perimeter, around the outside of the house. So this area I'm colouring in, this is where all the asbestos is, yeah? Oh, not there. Pay attention to this bit where the arrow is, it's just not there. There's no asbestos there. So, let's do the math real quickly, because, it's so obvious when you actually piece it all together. So, our houses, do they have wooden battens inside them? In the walls, when you remove plasterboard, you've got loads of wooden battens. The roof, is it made of wooden battens? And again, wood that runs across, wood that runs up the sides. This also runs down the house, down the walls. So it's all in there. Wood. So let's say if the house were to catch fire, all that you would pull out of the wreckage is these outside pieces. That's it. So they say that it's because it's fire retardant. Oh, it's really good, it was built these many years ago and it's like fire retardant and shit. Okay, so the house is made of bricks. Yeah. Right? The fireplace, where there's going to be a fire and you're calling this stuff fire retardant, and you're going to knock and demolish a chimney, but you don't test it for asbestos because apparently there's no asbestos inside the fireplace or the chimney. But apparently this stuff was built with the intention of being fireproof, but you don't put it inside a chimney where there's going to be a fire. So let me guess, you build a whole house out of paper fucking mache, and you just put a few strips of asbestos around the sides. There's a fireplace in there, but you don't cover it with asbestos. And this is so the fire brigade are like, whew, it's a good job you had those bits of asbestos in there. Oh, why is that? Oh, well, look, at least we salvaged something from the wreckage. They've got wooden beams, but don't wrap this in asbestos. I mean, I suppose we can make it into a garage now. And then they claim that there's no asbestos inside the chimney. None at all in the fireplace or anywhere else like that, for that matter. None at all. It's just around the outside and inside your water tank. Yet the outside of your water tank is highly flammable. The wooden beams and the unit, the wood that it sits on, extremely flammable, but no asbestos. They built it out of wood. Why didn't they build it out of asbestos then? Why didn't they encase the whole thing in asbestos, outside and everything? Because, I mean, if sparks are going to fly, councils harp around about safety this and safety that, and building regulation this and building regulation that. And it's just to stop you from figuring out how good you could build a house. It's to stop you playing around with it, you see. Restrict it. When all of the houses that they've built have been built out of poison. Needlessly. And then you've got those cars with the really big exhaust pipes that... And that creates vibration, that all the window panes are rattling and everything. Even my fillings are freaking rattling. And you've got asbestos boards that press against brick that are reverberating, and they reverberate against each other as well. Small little pieces, are dusting off of there, but we're going to leave these boards in place because if we didn't, the house would burn down. So what is it protecting exactly from fire outside the house? Just around the outside perimeter of the house. This bit's outside. What is that actually protecting? What is that stopping from catching fire then? So wooden windows, wooden battens inside the house. Well, have you ever heard bullshit in all your life? Lies. The way they just lie. And then when you talk to them about asbestos, and they don't even, the council's like, well, usually we would wrap it up. Usually we would do this. Well, fucking yes, of course, that's what you would usually do. But you don't. You're there to make sure this stuff is done. You've got health and safety inside your own department at Saffron. But you don't do any of it. And their excuse is because it's fireproof. It's really good because it's fireproof. So it's not in a fireplace. Well, we didn't test it. But no, we tested it after we knocked it down. But no, there's no asbestos in there. Well, you'd think if it was fireproof, and let me just check this out for a second, we're going to put a fireplace in the building at the same time as putting this asbestos around the building. You don't think to wrap it around the wooden beams? All the wooden beams inside the house that hold the house up, you wrap that in asbestos like a little present. You do all the wooden beams inside the attic or the loft. All the boards that hold the ceiling, the plasterboard to the ceiling, you would wrap that in. The next thing they're going to tell me is fire only burns up. It actually doesn't. Fire burns down as well. That's the first thing you learn, right? And they're telling me. I took a course in this, actually got a diploma in it. Fire burns down. It's one of the first misnomers that you will ever learn. That they will say, you'll ask anyone, how does fire respond? Well, it burns upwards. It never burns downwards, it always burns upwards. That's not true. Well, fires usually start from bottom to top. No, they don't. They actually start from bottom to top, yes, in this understanding, but they also drop burning debris downwards. Then these debris cause fire and then it rages again.
Yeah, because people are thinking about fire and lake on the ground.
Yeah, they're thinking where the heat goes.
Yeah,
they're thinking about heat. That whole fire isn't levitating out the fucking chimney, is it? No, it stays at the bottom, right? But they'll say fire travels upwards. So you got a chimney, no asbestos inside it. So I'm either going to call that as bullshit because they brought down the chimney and we're like, oh shit. Which then puts kids' lives at risk, and this is environmental health that are supposed to be here. Honestly, I think council should shut their fucking doors. P45, the lot of you, see you later.
Yeah, they are irresponsible.
Irresponsible. I mean, who built the houses out of this poisonous products in the first place? They did. Saffron? Well, they don't really seem to care about it because they're doing nothing to get rid of it. Well, what are we going to do with it? I don't know. Go do it with that safety stuff. Well, you're the one with the safety certificate. Maybe we should change the wooden banisters and all the wooden skirting board inside the house. Is that made out of asbestos? No, don't be silly. Which is then connected, and when you remove these skirting board, it exposes the wooden rafts that run in between the void of the house, which would catch fire in between. That's usually how it happens, and then the house collapses in on itself. And then you get popped pins, the screws or the nails that hold the plasterboard up to the wooden rafters. When they get hot, the screws expand, and the nails, they expand. This is called popped pins. This causes the plasterboard to fall down. This then fans the flames. Some of them go arched in. Then the fire starts burning the rafters, which the wooden parts, don't know what they're called now, forget what they're called, doesn't matter, it'll come to me in a bit. And then it starts on the loft. Then the roof caves inwards, and then you're like, thank goodness we had those asbestos bits around the outside. Thank goodness we put it in the water tank. But we sat the water tank that can catch fire on wood. We built 90% of the house out of freaking wood, and you mean to tell me that brick is flammable? But not put it in a chimney? You see, they're full of shit, and they can't even lie correctly. They sit there, oh my god, oh shit, he's working us out. Yeah, because you guys are killers. How many cancers are you causing? And never get that. Saffron rent to the NHS in certain places, yeah? You mean to tell me that the ones that built the NHS didn't buy the land? No, they would rather rent it to Saffron. And one, I can see why you called it Saffron. You're here to make as much money as you possibly can. Where did you get your job from? Where did you get a job that paid you enough money as individuals? You all got together and were like, right, we're going to buy all the council houses. And people that work for centuries, literally centuries, can't even afford one house. But some people that come out of nowhere, and apparently there's no favoritism, it's just jealousy. Oh, okay, sorry. Oh my god, gee, I'm shitting myself with envy. You managed to get together and buy all council houses. What job did you have? I mean, is there any going? I'd love to follow your footsteps. And the ones that bought the Anglian water. And your reasons for having asbestos is because of this. And then you're not overrunning the NHS. The council's not overrunning the NHS. And then we've got people who never were qualified, who didn't need fucking building permission, that can build 900-year-old abbeys, 450-year-old houses, that have stood the test of time, that were made out of wood. And your buildings break within how long? They're built out of rack and crap and then we call this thing called safety regulations and planning permission. For what? Isn't it like this though? We're taught to... So we don't grow food. So when we look at an animal, let's take birds. We put them in a cage. We give them water, we give them food, we give them warmth, we give them light. Humans are the same way. So, bit by bit, we begin to give the bird somewhere to perch. We give them food, and we give them water. Next generation of birds come, same thing. Next generation of birds come, same thing. Can they build a nest outside? Do they have the knowledge to build a nest outside? Probably not. Can they survive and find food outside? So you take humans and then you give them food. On socialism, then you give them a place to stay. The difference is with a bird, can you make it work? Can you make it go and jump through all the hoops to get all of this stuff? So you can give a bird socialism, but you can't give it to humans. But then humans are told, if you want to keep this stuff, if you want to keep all that poison we give you, then you better jump through these hoops. And then they layer on about safety. They layer on about you wouldn't know how to do farming. You wouldn't know how to look after animals. Look, ask the RSPCA, they'll tell you how difficult it is. They confiscate loads of animals and then hold their hand out because they haven't got enough to look after the animals that they've taken off of people that apparently didn't know how to look after the animals. I mean, that's interesting, isn't it? And then say it's about safety and you need this certificate and you need that certificate. Look, how to build a house, you need these safety features, you need this, you need that, you need loads of red tape, when all it really is to stop you from building something. Because you might do a better job than they do, and then that knocks it out, doesn't it? You might be like our ancestors 450 years ago to even older than that, 900 years ago. being able to build it without qualifications, without safety regulations, without all of this stuff, and they built quite beautiful monuments. If the churches 900 years ago are anything to go on, the pyramids are anything to go on, X amount of 15,000 to 10,000 to whatever thousand years it was. The Mayans, Incas. Look at that. Look, can you imagine what their houses were like? Well, there isn't any left, but still, could you imagine it? You mean to say that these modern structures that we would call back then, which would be the temples, if that's anything to go on, what do you reckon their houses were like? They're probably pretty good, right? It must have been, in order to build that. That's without qualifications, that's without safety. And the ones that harp on about safety build the houses with the most poisonous things, and then are like, oh, we just didn't know, a bit like Grenfell Tower, we didn't know, that's why we wrote oops. And then you had a council involved that knew how flammable these things were. They classed it to basically like fire bricks. Where were they then? Oh, look, maybe the building's made out of like 20% asbestos. Actually, yeah, because it's got just the word asbestos in it, the place won't burn down. So you would rather have a building that kills all the occupants but keeps the building standing. You'd think they'd wrapped all the wood and timber in the house out of asbestos. Well, it'd stop it burning, wouldn't it? It's fireproof. They'd start making the fucking ceiling out of it. Fuck this plaster, asbestos is easier to make. Look at it, it's good for you. So why were they so hesitant if they didn't know? And then you've got a group there that are supposed to test this stuff. They harp on about any time anyone so much as shits in a river, they're there putting all the fish back in because some horrible people around here are killing all the fish, but never question about the salt that they put in the rivers. That's interesting. Never question that they're extracting water from deep in the ground, Anglian water. And are doing what with this water? Releasing it into the ocean, which causes the ocean, which is exposed to more sunlight than anywhere else, that then causes flooding. And then they're like, we better charge a tax from you for that, because it's your fault. You're wasting water, you're doing this. And floods. It's an act of God. No, it's an act of greed. You're close, it's greed. Look, let's no longer put soakaways in. Why is that? Because we at Anglian Water can charge people for sewage water, and then the council are like, fuck him right, mate, we're charging them through taxes and road tax to put drains in, and then we can charge them an extra tax, and you can also charge them to drain the water. Well, at least if it was leaching in the ground, at least we wouldn't have droughts. It'd go back into the ground and it would slowly make its way to the river. Oh, no, 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 no. Let's be greedy bastards. Pump it in, and then we'll blame it on burning stuff. Idiots. No, sorry, this I'm not sorry. This is idiocy. And then we've got scientists this, scientists that. And I don't blame scientists, I really don't, because I think that if they didn't have red tape, they would release what they find, but they don't. They'd be crazy. You're mad. Let's kick you down. You notice the way they come at you. You notice the way they come at you. And then they build the fucking houses with wooden floors. Asbestos around the outside of the building is supposed to be fireproof, but they build it with wooden floors. You know, wooden floors made out of wood that's highly flammable. I suppose they could argue against me and say, well, the house is damp. Yes, it fucking is. Oh, that wet wood would never burn, would it? So rotten wood burns quicker. Oh my days. But don't worry, we've got asbestos around the outside of the building. That's why we can leave the electrics hanging off the wall. You know, I've got to be in my bonnet about this. You know, today I wasn't going to venture down into this. But just thinking back about it, how stupid. I mean, I've got the recordings. of the phone call, that conversation that I had with the person. He was losing his shit with me. I was trying to remain very calm. I've got zero tolerance for bullshit. Yeah, well, we've got zero tolerance for hurt feelings. Oh my, do me a favour. And then if we got rid of asbestos, would he have a job? They're cutting back on all these things that they're building with, and they're cutting back on this, that and the other. But if you want to take the vans home, flagship housing or social housing, which isn't socialised, private housing, if you want to take the cars with you, take them. We don't mind paying for the wear and tear, and when we say we, it won't be coming out of CEO's pocket. We're going to charge it out the people's pocket. We're going to up their rent. Look, we've got to up the rent £25. We just look at this inflation, and we can't cut back any more than we've already cut back. Right, you are. But you're not cutting back from your staff that can take the vehicles home. Who's paying for that wear and tear? Who's paying for that fuel? Who's paying for that tax? Who's paying for that insurance? Well, we're going to dock it out their wages. Yeah, sure. Whereas if you didn't take it out at all and left the van in the yard, I'm pretty sure that that's going to have longevity to it, which is going to save a lot of money, especially for all of these people on social, low income. And we're going to be making affordable housing. How do you make affordable housing and allow everyone to wear and tear the shit out of your vehicle? No, you can't. There are belts, pulleys, mechanic. Let me guess, you've got built-in mechanics at Saffron. We've also got Saffron Mechanics. Then we've got Saffron Parts, Saffron Engineering. They fix all of the vehicles on site and they make all of their parts. We're trying to save you money. We don't want your rent to go up. We want it to go down. Actually, we want it to break even. Oh my days. It's serious. And then the council get involved like they've got nothing to do with it. And then they're trying to look at, oh look at these wires that you placed here for me. Man, I would have thought sociology, the kings, the knights of sociology and psychology, you know, oh, let me bow to you guys for a second. Or shall I bend over backwards? Let me do all of those things for you. You great people with sociology and psychology are susceptible, highly susceptible, to the same mechanisms that you use on people. Well, fucking hell, I thought you were above everybody. Didn't know you were equal. Everything screams equal, whilst you pretend that you're higher. So yeah, the fire brigade must go and put out a fire and be like, you know, actually, is the building made out of asbestos? Yes. Oh, okay then. Just let it burn out. The building will be fine. We don't need to come. We're going to save wear and tear on the fire engine, and we're going to save some water. Angling water are getting more expensive. So, you know, probably not. Okay, goodbye. People are trapped inside a building. Look, we checked with the landlord. The building's made out of asbestos. It's got best in it. And what you best do is just throw a towel underneath the door. Don't worry about it. But the door's made of wood. It's alright. The asbestos is going to save you. Asbestos to the rescue. What are you? Asbestos man. Fireproof. And then we're all going to sit here blowing smoke up each other's asses, are we? They didn't know. Yeah. Yeah, they didn't know. Okay. That's why they gave it to a CEO and board members, is it? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You fucking didn't. No, I think councils should go. I think they should, well, perhaps keep councils, but the council tax, what are we paying for? Well, look, you got to pay for the police. Why? How much are you responsible for cancer? I'm willing to bet the people that are not able to be treated by cancer are the ones that have been exposed to asbestos. Brought to you in part by Saffron Housing. Developed and maintained by the council. They do not give a shit. Tell them, tell them, tell them, tell them. The small amounts of asbestos in your house are totally harmful. Tell them, tell them, tell them, tell them. I meant harmless. Tell them, tell them, tell them. If your house ever caught fire, your furnishings may go, but the building will stay standing. Tell them, tell them, tell them. Brought to you in part by The Bullshit Factory. You might as well get out with your trumpets. You tell me what this is all about. And then they've got these rules and regulations in this country of bureaucracy. Housing Act, bureaucracy. And then they're like, you don't have to, you can pick and choose what you want to pick, Saffron, out of the Housing Act. You don't actually have to follow it. Oh, good, glad a member of fucking council, yes? I'm glad you said that, because that means I can pick and choose what fucking laws I'm going to act upon. If it don't matter at the top end of the fucking highest parts of the country, then it sure as shit don't matter at the bottom end then either, does it? We're all under equal laws here? Oh no, of course we're not. We'd have to get past the gentry first. One rule for you, and fuck you for you. And one rule for you, and fuck you for you. I mean, what the fuck is this? Asbestos, yeah, okay then. Cladding, yeah, okay then. And then only when there's an accident. I thought we paid you to go around and check shit. Not wait until there's a accident. It was hindsight. Oh my days, it was unprecedented. With the word oops. Oops. It was just unprecedented, unforeseen. No one could have predicted this. Well, I'm predicting it with asbestos. Oh, I bet cancer rates go down, don't they? You don't think if they removed asbestos, cancer rates would fall? Well, no, because there's asbestos everywhere, and most people don't take care of it properly. I mean, if even Saffron aren't taking care of it, and they've got health and safety... health and safety, are you sure? Helmets? And what, then we've got environmental health and safety, and their fucking helmets as well. We can leave asbestos exposed. Rat droppings? Never mind that. Yeah, let me give you some other logic from the council as well, right? You want to start a business where you're going to be catering and cooking from your house. You have to have one utensil that you use and another utensil that you use for your company. One cooker for personal use and another cooker for professional use. Same kitchen, at home, two different ways you're going to operate it. That's if you're allowed to work a business from your home. It won't be unreasonably held against you. Oh, what a load of bullshit. God, how do you keep a straight face while saying that? Because we rehearsed it, I know, but when we go sideways into you, fuck me, look at that, all of those secrets pull out. Anyway, let's just keep going with this. So let's get this straight. You can't use your personal cooker in the same kitchen, your personal chopping board, and your personal knife, and your personal ladle to cook a personal meal. Or a professional meal for someone. But you can use your professional one to cook professional meal for the public. So what happens if I eat from that professional cooker? I don't know, am I public enough or am I... Where do I stand now? Am I public or personal? Which... So you mean to tell me that if I have two identical things, never talk about wasting products. There are people with no cookers in their fucking homes. Can you believe that? Well, probably because we're taking too many cookers to make identical cookers that will do identical things. Yes, but you treat this one differently because it's personal than what you would if this one was professional. And you need a safety certificate. What do you clean your, your public utensils with? Rat poison? Oh, well done. There's 1 star for you. Brilliant. What do you do with your towel? Well, when after I finished fucking cleaning the floor with the same towel, because, you know, I wet it with the same cloth, and then I use the towel to dry off the floor, and then I use that same towel to dip in my arsenic and then clean off the fucking utensils. Which I have seen people do, and some people have reported this to trading standards, and they get a 5 well done happy face on the outside of it, and I'm just like, wow. Look here, we're going to turn up at this date, we're going to turn up hidden. Make sure you get it finished before then. That would be like police investigators giving you a little bit of a notice period that they're going to start on. Oh wait, get your story straight, make sure you clean things up, we're investigating you in this time. Okay, officer, if you want to avoid me and repercussions, just do these things here. Thank you very much. What the fucking hell's wrong with all of this shit? Asbestos around a building like that, but it's for your protection. It's for you. You might as well get the National Lottery symbol in here. It could be you. Rather than saying that, it should be with the fingers like this, like Jesus. It should be more like, it could be you that gets exposed to asbestos. It could be your kids that get exposed to asbestos. And then if they're not doing it here, then they're failing to do the job, which then your rent is paying for these people to do that. Your council tax is failing to cover these individuals, and they're not doing their job properly, because then it becomes an ego war, right? Look what he's doing. He's got these wires here. Because you assume, you make assumptions. Apparently you're not allowed to assume. You're supposed to ask the person what they're for, but you didn't. So you're assuming. I was just hanging these wires up because you were going to go for these. I was going to see which ones you were going to... It's just cable. It's not connected to anything. It's just hanging there for you, your benefit, to see which one you cared about more. My stuff, which is personal property, you don't have any right to look at, but apparently they do have right to look at your personal property. Then it makes you wonder about these inspections they do. So they have every right to check your personal property, and then they want to come to your house by doing an inspection of the property, but they want to investigate your personal effects. See what I mean? You see, you can't have it both ways. You wouldn't be acting this way. You were there to look at their standards. I mean, you warned them that you were coming. You gave them a letter and a time and a date when you were coming. You told me you were investigating them. You didn't say you were investigating me. Oh, I better get some shit hidden then. And then you're allowed to assume about me, but knowing it about them, it's alright. No! There's one, and then the other one, I'm not going up there! It's all fucking excitement and surprise. I thought you would have rehearsed this in the mirror. No, I'm not going up there. I mean, to say that you're not going up there about asbestos being exposed, why will you not go up there and have a look? It's your job, isn't it? Go and get some evidence on the old council database. These cunts aren't paying council tax, are they? Well, when the building's empty, they get 2 years worth of exposure, don't they? They don't pay council tax. They don't pay council tax. It's bullshit. I don't think any landlord has ever paid council tax. They get up to 2 years. They're millions over that penny on a grand over what you are not allowed to be exempt because you're a penny over. They have got millions in their account. How many pennies is that over? You're 1 pence over, not exempt from council tax. They are millions over, and they are exempt for 2 years. And if you want it consecutively, you have to reapply again. Don't overlap it. I mean, they give you a full instruction manual to the businesses of what they to do. But what about you? Wait, I don't see anything in here. Fucking hell, did you write this from a Bible? There don't seem to be any answers in here. But yeah, it's all laid down. You got to contact this number. They tell you exactly what to do if you're a business, how to get exempt. But you, the people, no ifs, buts, maybes. So yeah, they build a place that's outside, around the outside of the house. I mean, it's outside on this one. The other one was inside, up in the loft, and it was placed upside down above the bedrooms. Like, it could have fallen through. It wouldn't have gone through because the beams would have helped it. Basically held it, helped it stay up there. But it could have pushed the plasterboard down above bedrooms, unwrapped. Then the electrician has read asbestos warning. They come all fucking hazmazzed up. They look like fucking Star Wars. And you're telling all of their workers you probably want to wear some masks before going up there. Why? Well, because this. They're putting like 6 fucking masks on. They look like fucking old plague doctors. Behaviour, right? Why are they doing that if there's no risk? Or they refuse to go up there at all. And they start talking about fire risk and it's got to help the building not to catch fire and you've got damp. Never mind plug sockets. Water and electricity must work well. Never mind that. You've also got an electric box that's hanging off the wall. Never mind that. Never mind any of that shit. It's also at kid level, which the last time I checked, this stuff legally had to be out of reach of children. Legally, by law, that was one of the requirements, health and safety. It has to be above where kids can get to it.
Yeah, they were supposed to move it, even though it's old at night.
Yeah, I thought under health and safety that an electric box that low down to the ground was illegal. It had to be above the reach of children. Yeah. So that one wasn't even noticed or documented. Fuck me, I've never taken your job or done a course, but I seem to know an awful lot about it. It's because it's called common sense. But there again, should have learned something from South Norfolk. Back at the last property, there was water pissing through a fucking ceiling. They had crimped a live wire, and water's running down it, and apparently that's not a risk. Alright then, water's filling up inside a light. 2 lights, and then you've got rusted circuits inside it. And that's not an issue. And then they want to start talking about fucking solar panels. Wait, what? 240 fucking volts, rusted batteries that could overcharge, and depends on what they've got in them. Lithium, because they're rechargeable, and the big fuckers, because they're lights that last when the fire. If there's a fire, these lights are meant to come on. So that's a fire risk. But you know, these people understand it. Don't worry, the building is made of asbestos. You'll be fine. Clearly these people have never been inside a fire before. They have no idea. These people are trained in health and safety, apparently. But lithium can explode, yes? Spectacularly. This thing, I think, would have 4 batteries in it, if I'm not mistaken. It's the old type. I've seen many of these in my life. And just by, investigating these when I was younger, these types of lights, you know, the ones that they took down, and just to find out why they weren't working. And usually it's the battery or it's the controller, but yet highly rusted, lots of water inside it, which causes it to short. It doesn't blow the trip. Clearly, it didn't blow the trip. Energy is still running through it. And this could cause a high level of voltage to short across the battery terminal, which could cause it to explode. That's technically a bomb. Where there are kids present, and this electrician that did and okayed all of that Kevin Hearn, they all voted for him to be a mayor, and that's ironic because the last mayor here in Wyndham died because of fire.
Caused by electricity.
Yeah, caused by an electricity, wasn't it? No wonder why. Because the council is failing. And not only the council, even electricians are behaving like this. And I think there's two ways that Saffron will do it. It sounds a bit extreme, right? So they want their rules done. And these types of people are so entitled that no doesn't even fit their brain pattern. It's yes, yes, yes. There is no no. Ugh, I don't know if I trust a world with women in front of these people because they don't take no. It's yes and yes, one way or the other. So I think that they like to do something like this. So they were saying that a shed burnt down because of a light. Okay, yeah, sure. There's two ways to get rules changed. One, they just put the rules in and people disobey it anyway. Or they find out people that have put it in while doing their inspections and then might go and set fire to a shed, right? And then when they set fire to a shed, oh look, it caught fire. Oh look, see? It was because of these electrical devices here. I don't believe that. I don't believe that a shed caught fire because of a fucking light. I think it was more like a tall tale to get the yes. Look, because of this one person did this and installed this like this, it caught fire, we have to say no to everyone. Wait, what? No, more like it is to stop people from experimenting because they might be able to be the next geniuses that could create a new electronical device that puts all of you artificial individuals out of a job overnight, and you're scared of it and you want to hold on to your greed just like you hold on to everything and you try and manipulate it and control it. You gotta go to this course over here. Why is that? Because it makes money. I mean, because it's got to teach you safety. All of these people who've gone through safety, ain't none of them got any common sense. And then it draws the line between, is this assassination attempt? And just remember, you put my kids in this, and you are putting other kids in this. The fact that you are putting people at risk in this, it shouldn't be whether it's a kid, woman, man. It should be that you are putting other people at risk, in danger, unnecessarily. Because you don't want to dig into your millions. And this is the problem with privatizing social structures. If it was still in a socialistic pot, well, it wouldn't be making profit, would it? That money would go back into renovating and changing and updating and, oh, look, we found this stuff is no longer good for you. Maybe we'll remove that. We've got a steel mill here. If you think that they wanted to make a house that was fireproof, they would build it fireproof. Well, using metal, right? All banisters would be replaced, wouldn't they? Skirting boards would have to come out. Can't have them anymore. Carpets? Ha! Are you kidding me? Do you know how flammable that is? Wooden floors? Don't be silly. What tree did we make it from? Oh, it's alright, we use pine, one of the most flammable substances you can find. It's alright, we treated it with a chemical. Chemical that washes out. Fire retard washes out. And you guys know health and safety? Fucking, yeah, do me a favour. And yet, their reasons for not allowing people to have solar panels is because they don't know health and safety. And yet the ones that do know health and safety act like this. Well, that's weird. And then you have to pay for this? And then if you go to talk up about it, they've got corporate spies that are everywhere, be in the council, you little fucking knights. Oh shit me, you couldn't even save yourselves from a wet paper bag. You couldn't even save a fucking empire from nothing. You lot are the creator. I mean, you're just going to cause a massive shitstorm. In fact, I predict that you lot are going to trigger a governmental collapse around the world if you keep acting like this. We have to leave the EU. Why? Because it's all the EU's fault. And then you get worse when we leave the EU and then you're blaming government. Man, this is fucking... What the hell is this? More like we needed people to leave the EU because we needed to stop you from having freedom of movement. Because, you know, if we start showing our true colours, you lot will all have an opportunity to leave. Then we start talking about human rights, human rights, human rights. Only prisoners have got human rights. We can't make them work. Why not? Because they're human rights. People on benefits and fucking being killed, death sentence. We don't have the death penalty in here. That's manslaughter. Amber Rudd, and then the next one, Rachel Reeves, that's manslaughter. In fact, it was premeditated. Don't tell me you didn't know. That's conspiracy to commit murder. Mass murder. Do you know what? We went to war with fucking Adolf Hitler for this. But yet when you do it to the same people in your nation,